King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold 90 feet high. And
What are you reading?
I'm reading a Bible story.
What's it about?
It's about the 3 Hebrew children.
I've never heard that one.
Oh, yeah?
Will you tell it to me?
Well, I sure will.
Yay.
Do you want the Cliff Notes version, or do you want me to read it from the Bible?
What? I think from the Bible.
Okay. All right. So,
Where is this found?
it's found in the book of Daniel, chapter 3.
Is that the Old Testament?
Yes, that is the Older Testament. We don't want to make fun of the Old Testament. It's the Older Testament.
Okay, the Older Testament.
The Older Testament.
Okay.
And so King Nebuchadnezzar made this image of gold, 90 feet high and 9 feet wide, and he set it upon the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. And he summoned the satraps, the prefects, the governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials to
Was he
come.
like the president?
You could call him that. He was like the king, the president. Yeah.
Did they have to do what he said?
Most of the time, if they didn't, then they got in trouble. Sometimes they even died. Yeah, it's bad news.
That is bad.
Yeah, sometimes they get thrown into fiery furnaces or into lions' dens. Yeah.
Why don't they do that today?
Because they the governments now they don't quite do things like they used to.
That might solve a lot of things.
You think so? I agree with you there. Well, I think we should have a fiery furnace out front. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's do it.
And so they came to the dedication of this image he had set up, and so everyone stood before it. And then they herald loudly proclaimed.
What's Harold mean?
That
Who's
means
he?
it's not a person. It's actually a.
I want to be Harold.
Okay, you be Harold.
Okay.
Go. Bum.
Bum-ba-da-da!
Perfect. This is what you are commanded to do, O people.
This is what you are commanded to do.
Nations and men of every language.
Nations and men of every language.
As soon as you hear the sound.
As soon as you hear the sound. What sound?
All kinds of music.
Oh.
Horns and flutes and zithers and lyres and harps and pipes.
And that Z word.
Yeah, zither.
Zither.
You must fall down and worship the image of gold.
How long do they have to stay down?
Until they're told to get up. So they
Can I get up?
Yeah, you can get up. We're not. They haven't blown the trumpet yet.
Oh, okay. I was just practicing.
That's good. Practice is good. So here's the kicker, though. All right. Whoever does not fall down and worship the king will be immediately thrown into a blazing furnace. Yeah.
And they'll die.
That's exactly what they will do.
They'll burn up.
They'll burn up. They'll come.
One time I was in a tanning bed.
Yeah.
It was hot.
How'd that go for you?
Didn't do nothing.
No.
No.
That's not how you became purple.
No, I nothing happened. I just got really hot.
Oh, okay. You didn't burn up though?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I stunk.
Have you ever been in a fiery furnace?
No.
No.
I've been around a campfire.
Well, that's pretty
And that
close.
was hot too.
That's pretty close. So here's what happened in verse 7 of Daniel chapter 3. It says, "Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, the flute..." That's right. All the people fell down and worshipped the image of the gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Yeah. And so it was at this time that some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. They said,
what does denounce mean?
Denounced. It means that they didn't want them. They said, we are not recognizing you.
We don't want you.
We don't want you. That's right. And they said to King Nebuchadnezzar, "O king, live forever. You have issued..."
King, live forever. Did they have to say that every time they saw him?
You don't need to say that. He wasn't a very good king at this time. At this point in time. And so he said, "You have issued a decree, O king, that everyone who hears his sound must fall down and worship the golden image. And whoever does not will be thrown into a blazing furnace. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of..."
They were tattletales.
Well, that's exactly what he was. He was telling on these three Jews called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Oh, that's some big names.
Yeah. We could call Abednego. I grew up calling him that, but some people call him Abednego.
I like Abednego.
Yeah, I like it too.
That's more.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they serve the one true God.
That's our God.
That's our God. And they decided, Praise Him. And they decided not to worship this golden image.
Good for them.
Yeah. So where do we find the rule about that? Isn't there a commandment about?
That's the 10 Commandments.
That's right. That's right. Thou shalt not worship any graven image. Right.
Well, you know a lot.
Well.
I wish I knew as much as you.
Yeah.
Someday.
Not too bad for a music pastor, huh?
That's right. Did you have to study the Bible to be a music pastor?
Yeah, I did.
As much as Pastor Ronnie?
No.
So he knows more than you?
I would say so.
I can't believe you admitted that. Okay, then what happened?
All right. So, verse 13. Furious with rage. Can you show me your mad face? Nebuchadnezzar summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and
Come
Abednego.
here right now.
That's what he said. So these men were brought before the king. And Nebuchadnezzar said to them, Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve any of my gods?
Is that true?
Is that true? Do you not worship the image of gold I've set up?
I told you what to do, and you didn't do it.
So
and they
here's-
tattled on you.
That's exactly what happened. But if you do not worship it, you'll be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace.
He didn't like them.
And then he asked them this question. This is the kicker. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?
What God can rescue you?
That's what he
He
said.
didn't believe in God.
He didn't believe in the one true God. No, he believed in other gods. So this is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's response. They said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us.
God is going to save us.
He's going to save us, not serve us. And he will rescue us from your hand, O king.
That was brave.
It was. And then check this out. This is how much faith they had in God. They said, but even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up.
No matter what.
No matter, even if we burn in the fiery furnace, we're not going to, well, they definitely wouldn't be able to,
That's right.
to worship
They'd
if they
be
got
dead.
burned. Yeah, that's right.
But they were going to serve God no matter what.
That's right, no matter what.
That's how we need to be.
That's exactly how we need to be. That's some real faith in God right there. So King Nebuchadnezzar, he was mad.
That just made him madder.
He was madder.
He was madder than a wet hen.
Wet.
Have you ever seen a wet hen?
No. Why were they so mad?
I guess because they're wet.
They don't
that
like to be
doesn't
wet.
feel good to a hen.
And so his attitude. Now, listen. This is something to understand that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they kind of worked for the king. They were leaders for the king.
So he was extra bad.
He was extra mad that some of his own people had basically turned against him. And so the Bible says his attitude toward them changed, and he ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than it previously was.
That's hot.
Yeah, it was really hot. He commanded some of the strongest soldiers to go in his army to go tie those guys up and throw them into the furnace. And so these men, they were wearing their clothes, and they were bound and thrown into the fiery furnace. Yep.
That's probably hotter than it is outside right now.
And
it's really hot.
It's hot outside. It's really hot. I'm so
Can you
hot.
imagine that?
Yeah, it would be unbelievable. So the king's command was so urgent, and the furnace was so hot that the flames of the fire actually killed the soldiers that put them in there.
It killed them when they threw him in.
Killed them when they threw them in.
Killed them right there.
Right there and then.
Can you imagine that?
Dead. I can't imagine.
Deader than a doornail.
I can read it though. I'm trying to imagine.
This really happened.
It really did happen. A long time ago. All right, so the Bible tells us that these 3 men who were firmly tied fell into the blazing furnace.
They were probably dead.
They should have been dead, that's for sure. King Nebuchadnezzar looked up in amazement, and he asked his advisors, weren't there just 3 men?
There were 3 men.
There were 3 men that we tied up and threw in the fire. And they said, well, duh, king, sure, there were 3 men.
We can count 3.
1, 2, 3. But then the king said, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire.
4 men.
4 men.
How in the world?
Yeah, and he said they all walking around unharmed, not burned.
Walking around.
Yeah, and the 4th one looks like a son of the gods.
It was the Son of God. It was Jesus.
I think it was Jesus.
That's exciting.
That's very exciting.
Then what?
So Well, Nebuchadnezzar approached the opening of the furnace and
He
shouted.
probably didn't get too close.
He probably
Because
didn't.
he would have got burned.
He got burned like those other guys did. He shouted out,
He shouted,
Shadrach,
Shadrach,
Meshach,
Meshach,
Abednego,
Abednego,
servants of the Most High God,
servants of the Most High God,
get on over here.
come out. They were probably happy.
Well, yeah. So here's the cool part. God takes care of his kiddos just like this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Abednego's hard to say.
It is kind of hard to say, even for an adult. So they came out of the fire, and all of the royal advisors crowded around them. And they saw that the fire had not even harmed their bodies. Not a hair
Not a hair on their head.
Is your hair? That's rough, man.
I know. I got an appointment next week.
I hope so.
Looks like your hair got burned off.
Don't talk about my hair.
Except for your beard.
Yeah, it's still there, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's there.
All right, good. Thanks. So they saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, not a hair of their heads singed, their robes weren't burned, and there wasn't even... What are you doing?
I was smelling you.
Why are you smelling me?
Because they didn't even smell like
Well, I
it.
hadn't even said that
Well,
yet.
I looked there.
Do you know this story?
I was reading.
Why am I the one telling this story? If
Well, you're a better reader and storyteller.
No, you can read the story, the rest of it. Stop smelling
It
me.
didn't smell bad.
Okay, that's good. Do I smell like smoke?
No, you smell like soap.
Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I don't smell like smoke. There was no smell of fire on them. So here's the cool thing. Nebuchadnezzar said, Praise be to the God
Praise be to God.
of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Their God is the one true God.
He's the man. He is the God.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And he sent his angel to rescue his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except for their own. And so at that point, King Nebuchadnezzar made the decree that no one should bow down and worship those other gods, only the God of Shadrach, Meshach,
So he
and
turned
Abednego.
good.
He did for a while.
I wonder what happened to those mean tattletale people.
Well, I think they got what was coming to them later with
Good.
Daniel. Yeah.
Don't tattle
Don't tattle
on nice people.
on nice people. People who are doing what they're supposed to do, right?
That's a good story.
Do you always do the right thing?
No, I don't.
Do you have faith in God like Shadrach, Meshach?
Yes,
and
I
Abednego?
do.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good.
I try.
You try.
Yeah.
What can we learn from this story?
Well, you learn that you need to not bow down to other gods
Okay.
and don't be a tattletale. And just because someone says you need to do this, you need to check and see if it's okay with God first. Also, be brave in God.
Absolutely.
I like that part the best.
Yeah. Shadrach, Meshach,
No
and
matter
Abednego.
what.
They were brave, weren't they?
They were. I want to be like them.
I want to be like them too.
Well, thanks for telling me the story.
Absolutely.
I liked it. This is one of my favorites now.
It's one of my favorites.
Maybe we'll learn to say that A word. Abednego. Abednego.
Let's keep it to that A word.
Abednego.
Abednego.
It's a good word.
That's
I'm
a
going to
good
practice
word.
it.
All right.
All right, you want to go eat?
I'm starving.
Where do you want to eat?
I don't know. Is the cafeteria open?
I don't know. I was thinking about Zaxby's.
Zaxby's.
Yeah.
That
Will you
sounds
buy?
good. I'll buy for you.
Yay!
I don't bet you eat too much.
You'd be surprised. All right, we're going to Zaxby's. See y'all.
All right. Bye.